Some people love sleeping in. Me? I treasure my early mornings. A hot mug of coffee, a quiet porch, and the sunrise over my yard. That's my peace. But peace doesn't last long when you've got an HOA Karen for a neighbor. Now, let me be clear, I don't even belong to her HOA. My property predates the development by decades. I bought the land, built my home, and made sure the deed was crystal clear. No HOA jurisdiction, no fees, no meddling. But that never stopped Karen, the self-appointed queen of the cul-de-sac, from trying to manage my life. One morning around 6 a.m., I heard banging on my front door. Not knocking, banging. I opened it to find Karen standing there in full clipboard and bathrobe regalia, hair up in curlers, face twisted with rage. "It's time for you to leave," she snapped. "You've been given notice." I blinked. "Notice for what?" "This house is not authorized," she said, waving papers that looked like they'd been printed off some HOA template. "The board has decided you're in violation of community standards. We're evicting you effective immediately." I actually laughed. "Evicting me? Karen, you don't own this house." "I do. And your HOA has no jurisdiction here." She smirked like she had the upper hand. "Maybe you fooled the county, but you won't fool me. I've called security, and if you resist, I'll have the police escort you out. So pack your things." That's when I decided to stop playing nice. I reached into my wallet and pulled out my badge. Not just any badge, my official Attorney General ID. Karen's Fäßfrotze. Her smirk evaporated as I held it up. "Karen," I said calmly, "not only are you trespassing on my porch at 6 in the morning, but you just threatened to illegally evict a homeowner. That's harassment, attempted fraud, and abuse of authority. And lucky for me, investigating fraud and harassment is literally my job." She stammered, her bravado melting. "I didn't mean it like that, it was just a misunderstanding." "Save it," I cut her off. "I want the HOA's full documentation on this so-called eviction attempt by noon today. If I don't get it, I'll be filing charges for harassment and abuse of process. And considering who I am, that won't end well." The blood drained from her face. She tried to backpedal, mumbling something about a clerical error, but I shut the door in her face and made a few calls. By lunchtime, I had the HOA president, 2 board members, and Karen herself sitting in my living room with their stack of phony violation notices. I went through every single page with a red pen, circling all the illegal claims, highlighting the fraudulent signatures, and pointing out the statutes they were breaking by trying to enforce rules on a property outside their jurisdiction. Then I looked them dead in the eye. "You've got 2 options. 1. Disband this harassment campaign immediately and issue me a written apology. 2. I drag your HOA into state court for fraud, and you explain to a judge why you think you can evict the Attorney General from his own house." You could have heard a pin drop. They chose option 1. Fast. The apology letter was delivered the next morning, signed by every board member. And within weeks, half the neighborhood knew the truth. Karen had picked a fight with the wrong guy. She was voted out as HOA president at the next meeting, humiliated in front of the very people she thought she ruled over. The best part? A few months later, my office launched a broader investigation into predatory HOA practices across the state. Guess whose HOA ended up on the list? That's right, Karen's. So now, every morning when I sip my coffee on the porch, I don't hear banging on my door. I hear peace. And sometimes, just to rub it in, I give a little wave when Karen slinks by on her morning walk, pretending not to see me. Because in the end, she didn't evict me, I evicted her authority.